All right, today we're on this here alternator belt that used to be the belt. Now, common problems. This is a Toyota Sienna 2004, but this pretty much applies for most vehicles that has an alternator. If your battery light in your car comes on the dash, the battery light, if it's flashing, if it turns on, most likely the alternator failed. 1, the belt broken. 2, or maybe the alternator fuse has blown out. So those are the 3 common problems. Usually it's the belt, you know, that dry belt or serpentine belt breaks like this one did. This one has 2 belts. It's one for the power steering pump, and there's one for the alternator, and that thing is gone. This is what it looks like. So whenever you go to a mechanic, you get your oil change, you get your car service, and they say, hey, your dry belt has cracks on them, you need a dry belt, just get it replaced, because you don't want to be stuck, because your car can only go so far running off the battery alone. You're gonna have to turn off all your accessories like the radio, turn the AC off, because the battery cannot handle all that extra load while driving without this alternator. This thing is the brain. This is everything when it comes down to keeping the electricity and everything running in your car. So we're gonna replace that thing today. Stay tuned. All right, in order to loosen this here alternator up, there's not like a tensioner or anything separate on here. So right down here, it's a 14mm socket, or 12 actually, I'm sorry. And in front of that, right there, that's another 12. And then you have a 14 right there to loosen this thing up. Set up this camera. Loosen those. Loosen this here 14. Gotta give it a good yank. There we go. So it's finger tight. And then we want to loosen up this here bolt here. This is what draws the alternator in and out. And that will also be finger tight. You keep using the tool, but it's so loose. The adjuster bolt. I'm not sure how loose I need it because the belt was already broken off. So I'm just gonna loosen it up. And then all you can do, as you can see, as you can see now, the alternator moves up and down because I loosened up that 14, it's a 12 in the front here, and this here 12 here with this adjuster bolt. So that makes the alternator drop down. So I should be able to put the belt on. Let's check it out. That's a brand new belt right there. It's pretty good. And this is a simple route. It's nothing crazy. Some cars, you gotta go through this hoop, through that loop, and all kind of stuff. This one here is just straight around the crankshaft, around the crankshaft pulley, around the AC compressor, and the alternator. 23 pulleys. Great. This here could be a pain, you know. If you have smaller hands, it'll be easier, but my hands are kind of chunky. I'll wrap it around that crank pulley first. Might have to come from the bottom, but let's see. If I can move the top. Definitely got to come from the bottom. So, less struggle is less real. So you want to make sure, like why this belt's snapping or breaking like that. I'm sure it was just of age. This is a 2004. There's no telling when was the last time they changed this belt. But what you want to do is to ensure that all the pulleys that it wrap around beside the crankshaft, you know that thing is spinning, but your motor was locked up. But you want to make sure that all of it's spinning freely. Because if one is seized or frozen, putting a new belt on there is definitely not going to help the problem. You'll be changing that belt again, or you're going to have a real loud screeching noise, screaming. So we want to make sure that those pulleys spin freely. I'm struggling here for no reason. I'm making it harder than it really is. Should have been a 2-minute job tops, but me being stubborn and don't want to do extra work by going from the bottom, taking off covers and all that. See if they have small hands. Chance. There we go. So as I'm holding it, pulling tension, I'm actually pushing the belt on at the same time. Now let's fight with the AC compressor. Shouldn't be nowhere near as hard as the freaking crank pulley. Looks like I need to adjust the alternator some more because the belt is not stretching over it. So let's back that adjuster bolt out some more while still holding that belt, because you don't want to start that process over. There it is. Got it to stretch over. And you can feel around, make sure it's in all the grooves. So we now have the belt on. Say the crankshaft is down there. It's probably hard to see it, but it was a pain getting around there. The AC compressor there. Make sure the belt is seated properly, and it's, I can see that it's not fully on there. Oh, yeah, it is actually. All right. Now, you can either just back this bolt out. What I would do is pull it up by hand. Alright, so I'm going to pull it up. That way you don't have to screw this loose adjuster bolt in with the ratchet. You just go ahead and pull it up by hand. Tighten it as far as you can, finger tight. And then tighten it down. I don't know the specs on the tightness, but you'll know because you can feel it. I'll show you what I mean. So let me get this thing cranked down. Or you can count your turns, however far you turned it out from the original belt. But like I said, this one didn't have a belt. Because you definitely don't want more than like 2 inches of play on the belt. You don't want it too loose. You also don't want it too tight. Some cars have automatic adjusting tensioners. You don't have to worry about that. But for cars that don't, like this one here, this van, see that's tight right there. Definitely it's not coming off. So let's go ahead and tighten the other bolts back down. Grab the key. That's it. That's all she wrote. So from that ripped up, stringed up belt to that, yeah. Just make sure. Yeah, that battery light is no longer on. I didn't show you guys the video before. I didn't have the key, but that battery light was on, causing that alternator not to spin. And we're back in the game, baby. Come out, check your belt. Doesn't hurt to check it. Make it work. Make sure everything is everything. We are good to go. Thanks for watching. Yeah.